Chemtrails. Good morning and welcome. It is Wednesday. I don't know. It's a day. It is a lovely morning here in Ventura, California. Oh wait, I forgot I don't live in California. It is a lovely morning wherever it is I live. We are on our way to Target to replace some things that need to be upgraded in the old apartment. I'm on my way to walk to the vet to get my cat her medicine, and then to the Target, except of course can't walk anywhere in California. Yeah, still don't get that one. Anyways, we promised that we would try to do some DM tips on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So yeah, let's do a DM tip as we walk to wherever it is we're walking to. So what is the number one bit of advice I could give, or you could give, to anybody who wants to game master, whether they're just starting out or they've been doing it for a long time and now they've reached a stumbling block? So for the longest time, I felt the best advice I could give was start small, run dungeons. But I've been called out on that one. Apparently it means I don't have imagination and I don't trust my players, which is of course not true. So the reason why I say start small is there's no reason to do extra work if you don't have to. And there's no really reason to worry about places and things they're probably never gonna see. You could have a world, it could be as small as one village or as big as multiple continents, but when you start the game, your players are only at X. And X is probably gonna be their world for a while. So there might be cool things going on in the rest of your world that could directly or indirectly affect your players. There might be stories you're just dying to tell. There might be a really cool NPC. But if the players aren't there yet, and chances are, because they're players, they might never go there, there's no reason to stress yourself out to do the work. Especially if the work's been done for you, which we'll move on into in a second. So when I say start small, it doesn't mean I don't trust my players. I don't think my players are stupid. I don't have the imagination to create a world. It means whether you're a beginning DM or you've been doing this a long time, it just means go back to the basics. Go back to the world in front of the players and how they're going to interact with that world. Start small and then build off of that story. Let them unfold what's really great. Sure, you can have notes for things that are cool that you want to see and do when they're taking place and might affect them, and that's great, and you should have that, because those are all great creativity exercises. But again, if they don't ever go to the lost caverns of broccoli, then you've wasted 3 weeks designing the lost caverns of broccoli. But then your players are like, nah, I don't want to go to the lost caverns of broccoli. I want to go to the halls of the Sandwich King. And you're like, well, no, OGGM is doing his stupid food jokes again. Smart, small, run dungeons. What do I mean by run dungeons? Because apparently I've been called out for what I think a dungeon is. And I don't mean run dungeons as in run them through just repetitive holes in the ground, because you could be playing a game like Call of Cthulhu or Superheroes where there are no repetitive holes in the ground. And there are other games besides Dungeons and Dragons where you can have a dungeon scenario. So I don't really care what the definition of dungeon is, and I don't really care what it is you think Gygax meant. A dungeon is a small, self-contained narrative construct with few entrances, few exits, with a beginning, middle, and end that can be resolved in 1 or 2 sessions, that tells a self-contained story and allows the player characters to progress as individuals, to get a better understanding of the world, to give you just a small, self-contained series of things that can happen, and then they can move on. And maybe it's someplace they go back to, or maybe it's someplace they never see again. But when I say run dungeons, I don't mean dungeon as in hole in the ground. Because again, it's a narrative construct. Anything can be a dungeon that's a small, self-contained story with very few ways to get in, very few ways to leave, and sort of its own little ecosystem that, what's ever going on in the halls of the Broccoli King only affect the halls of the Broccoli King and doesn't affect really anything else. And you can just do that for a while you're getting comfortable with running, or if you're hit a roadblock, then you can just sort of, run these sort of small little scenarios to help engage the players, help engage yourself, help work on your creativity exercises, and your note-taking, and your outlines, and all those other little tips and tricks. And things. So run dungeons. Start small. And remember, no matter what game you're running, whether it be fantasy, science fiction, horror, outer space, Old West, superheroes, chances are somebody's already done the work for you. Uh-oh, police. Because there's published stuff, and there has been published stuff out there as long as it has been there. So take a look at what's already made available to you, because if you don't have to do the work, if somebody's already done the work for you, that's one less thing you have to worry about. If there is already a published adventure called The Halls of the Broccoli King, well, then you don't have to build the Halls of the Broccoli King. Or maybe you found a published adventure called The Halls of the Asparagus King, but you're like, I could change a few things and make this into my own. I have this blueprint, but I can also mash together other things to make it fit the story I'm telling, because that's what I do. I do that all the time. I mean, that's my number one DM cheat, is I liberously steal from people who have already done the work for me, because I'm lazy and I don't want to do any more work than I have to, because it's exhausting. And I never know what the players are going to do anyways. So if I don't have to devote 3 weeks to creating a scenario because I've already found it, hell yeah. And if by downloading that and paying $2, $3, $5, $10, I'm supporting a fellow creator, double bonus, because I've got something that has the bare bones and I've supported that guy. So once you have that outline, then you can play with that outline. You can mash together other outlines. We've talked about mashing together before, and it's another secret of running dungeons. Perfect example, haunted Egyptian pyramid. You want to run a haunted Egyptian pyramid. Well, there's like 40 haunted Egyptian pyramid adventures that have been written for the hobby. So you can take 2 or 3 that tell the same basic idea, mash them together to sort of create a new story, plus put in the stuff you like, oh, well, I want my haunted Egyptian pyramid filled with, Indiana Jones like traps and mummies and angry jackals and scorpions and other things that would live in a desert and hang out in a tomb. But I want to also throw in something that fits my world and the story that I'm telling of my world that would make sense to be in this. So I can do that too. So in addition to all the other things, I can throw in my hints that the broccoli kingdom was a lot older than people think. And there are actually worshippers of the dark asparagus god way back 2,000 years ago when this pyramid was first built. So yeah, start small, run dungeons, and if the work has been done for you, great. Great. Find something that does what you want it to do, that tells the story you want to tell. Read it, learn it, see what you can change, see how it, there's names you can change, whatever. Because not only are you making your job simpler, but you're supporting somebody else because you've given that guy, who's worked hard on that 5, 10, 20, 30 bucks, and that's just great. If you can support a fellow creator, have a product that you can use, run this dungeon, then bam, maybe they go back, maybe they don't, but it's done. You've told that part of the story. You have your little small story that then feeds into a little bit of a bigger story, that then feeds into a little bit of a bigger story, and then feeds into a little bigger story, and then eventually you get to that thing that you've been wanting to build up for, about that bad guy that was on the other continent, that was the mastermind behind the whole thing, that you've been waiting to drop on them, or the reveal that the NPC they met in the very first adventure that they've loved for 26 adventures was actually the bad guy all along, because that happened to me in a game once, and that was awesome, and frustrating. So yeah, if I can give you any advice at all about this amazing hobby, it's just don't stress, don't listen to the trolls, don't be angry, find something that you like and just use it. Start small, run small self-contained little stories or dungeons, slowly build your world with your players, have those arc points, those milestones that you want to happen. Be prepared, use other people's stuff because it makes your life easier and it supports them, and just don't stress. This is a game. You don't need to be sitting around being angry and shaking your fist and stuff. Look, it's a beautiful day. Go outside, write down your ideas, and then just chill, just have fun with the hobby. So I am the OGGM. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you don't appreciate this content, let me know. If you think these tips are worthwhile, great. Maybe consider supporting me. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm open to constructive criticism. Of course, please subscribe to the OGGM Adventures if you haven't yet. Help me hit 1,000 subs by August 4th. And I don't know, we'll shave my eyebrows and eat sushi or something. Till then, have a great day. And oh no, look, I've managed to walk someplace. Weird.